Okay guys, so it's time to start putting down some floor tile. The tile that I'm going to be using this time around is a 12 by 24 porcelain tile. It's got some cool gray and tan figuring in it, so that'll go nicely with the shower tile that we've got. And before we can do that, we need to put down some Ditra. So this is just the normal Ditra. There's Ditra XL, which has a kind of a deeper pocket in this waffle. So I'm just going to be using the Ditra, and this basically just serves as a buffer between the tile and the subfloor, so it allows the subfloor and the tile surface to have a little bit of movement to hopefully prevent some cracking. So that's what we're going to be using this go around. As I use the Curdy trowel to put up the Curdy membrane to patch the screw holes and the seams and everything in the shower, I'm going to be using the Ditra trowel for this go around for the uncoupling membrane. Just a tip, they typically give these out for free if you go to their training seminars that they hold, which is really cool. So I got those a couple years ago at one of their training seminars, which is also a great opportunity, very informative. They've got different tiers of training seminars, so definitely look into that. But anyway, couple tips. You want to lay out your Ditra prior to going and laying it down. So you want to cut all your holes for your vents, your toilets, any other obstructions that you might have on the ground. Go ahead and lay it out, get all your holes and everything cut, so that when you have your thin set already troweled down on the ground, you can just roll it out and press it in. Also, you want to take a damp sponge and wipe down the subfloor prior to putting down your thin set. That just prevents the subfloor, the dry wood subfloor, from sucking all the moisture out of your thin set too quickly, and allows your thin set to cure at the right rate and get good adhesion on this fleece underside of this Ditra. So we're going to be doing that. And then also, once I've got my Ditra down, Schluter recommends using like a flat trowel, wooden trowel. I'm going to be using just a roller and gently rolling over it to adhere it down. Notice I said gently, because using a roller you can kind of put speed bumps in it if you press too inconsistently and that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to use this roller. I don't have my flat trowel with me, my float. So I'm just going to use this and gently roll everything, make sure that everything is down where it needs to be, and then we can start laying some tile after that. So I've got a few pieces down here next to the tub that still need tiled with our shower wall tile. So I did that on purpose because I want to wait till I have my flooring underneath so that I can build up from there. And that prevents me from having to notch my flooring around that, and I think it gives a cleaner look being able to run your floor tile under your shower tile there where those meet. So I'm going to be doing that. Once I get that first row of floor tile in, I'll go ahead and finish those sides up, and then I'll waterproof between the tub and the Ditra using some more of the Curdy Fix and that kind of stuff. So that should be good to go. But it's a tiny bathroom. It's only about 25 square foot that I'm going to be tiling, so it should go down pretty quick. But then again, some of the smaller bathrooms are a little bit more tricky because the tight spaces can get cramped and difficult to work in. So shouldn't take long. I'm going to start here at the tub, obviously, and work my way back to the door so I don't trap myself in. And then we'll let it cure overnight. And then we'll come back tomorrow and get everything set. So for my tile, I'm using the Remodel leveling clips. There's a whole slew of different leveling clips out there, but it's what my supplier had at the time. So I've got a bunch of the wedges and the clips and everything. So I'm going to be using those as well to give me my grout line and to make sure the tile surface and everything is nice and level. So I definitely recommend using those, especially for the larger format tiles. It just makes everything so much cleaner and flat. So another thing to note with the Ditra, you can only use this for the larger tiles. I think you can only use it for anything bigger than 2x2. So if you are planning to put down a penny tile or another mosaic that has smaller pieces, smaller than the 2x2, then do not use the Ditra. So you'll just have to use, if you're wanting to waterproof, you can lay the Kerdi membrane underneath to waterproof everything. But as far as an uncoupling membrane, only 2x2 and bigger. So just a quick note on that as well. So we're going to get everything wiped down. We'll get this Ditra laid, and then we'll knock out some tiling and call it done for the day. Okay guys, so it's time to start tiling. I've got the Ditra down. I've got the Kerdi fix there between the tub and the Ditra, just to add a little bit of waterproofing. I know you're probably supposed to lay a band of the Kerdi, but I don't have any more of the Kerdi, so that's going to have to do. I mean, obviously you won't be getting that much water outside of the tub, or at least you shouldn't. And then I'll be caulking along the top of the tile as well to prevent water from going down in between the tile and the tub. This is the leveling system that I use that I mentioned. It's pretty basic, straightforward. Just your standard wedge and clip there. So the clip gives you your grout line. I'm using 1/16 again. So there's my wedges, my clip, and my little gun to compress everything. Got my thin set mixed up, and I've got my first tile, so I'm going to be running the tile there along that edge first, like I said, so I can finish doing the tile there at the tub, the shower tile that I left out. And like I said, I did that for a reason, so I can stack that shower tile on top of the floor tile, and everything is nice and secure, and that the floor tile will run underneath the shower tile. So for my tile, I am using this larger, I believe it's a 5/16 square notch trowel for my tile. As I mentioned previously when we were doing the Kerdi, I believe, and starting to lay those smaller tiles, the bigger the format of tile, the larger your notch needs to be, so that tile will compress everything. Those notches will lay down and adhere to the bottom of the tile, so you get good coverage. So that's what I'm going to be using. It's what I've used in on my 12x24s in the past. So we're ready to start laying some tile, and shouldn't take long once we get things going. But I'll let you ride along and see what all we do. so you'll see yesterday we got the floor tiled. Still have the leveling clips and everything on there. So one of the more satisfying parts of laying tile and using these leveling clips is getting to break them all off. So if you haven't used the leveling clips before, this is the Remodel system. There's a number of different systems out there, but they're basically all the same concept. So this piece sits below the tile. You wedge it in there, it levels your two pieces of tile. Once everything is cured, these have a bend down there below the tile, and they just break off down below the surface. So we'll just go through, kick them off, or use a non-marring dead blow hammer and just knock them off. It doesn't take much for them to come off, so we'll go ahead and knock those off. And then I'm going to work on the walls a little bit, and then I'll come back this afternoon and grout everything before I leave for the day. So we're going to go ahead and get these taken care of, and then we'll work on some walls.